Most people talk about being broke like it's just a money problem. It's not. Being broke changes the way you think, the way you talk, the way you date, even the way you see yourself. And the worst part? After a while, you stop trying to escape it, because survival becomes your entire personality. But there's one psychological trap almost nobody talks about, and it quietly keeps people stuck for years. We'll get to that in a minute. Because if you've ever felt exhausted all the time, angry at successful people, embarrassed to check your bank account, or weirdly disconnected from everyone around you, this video is probably about you. You know what's strange? Nobody tells you how humiliating being broke actually feels. Not the movie version. The real version. The version where you calculate the total before ordering food. Where your chest tightens every time your card gets inserted into a machine. Where you avoid hanging out with people because you know you can't afford whatever they casually call cheap. And after enough of those moments, you stop feeling poor. You start feeling defective. That's the psychological damage nobody talks about. Because money isn't just survival anymore. It becomes identity. And once that happens, every interaction starts feeling personal. Someone posts vacation photos online? You don't just see a vacation. You see proof that your life isn't moving. Your friend buys a new car? You smile externally. But internally, you feel like life picked everyone except you. And people will tell you, don't compare yourself. Easy advice from people who aren't choosing between groceries and dignity. Here's where it gets darker. Being broke, slowly, changes your behavior in relationships. You become hyper-aware of what you can't provide. You overthink dates. You hesitate to text people back, because deep down, you feel behind in life. Sometimes you isolate yourself completely because it feels safer than being exposed. And eventually, you stop pursuing people you actually like. Not because you don't want love. Because you think love belongs to people who have their life together. That's why some broke people become emotionally distant. Not cold. Ashamed. There's a difference. And this is the part most motivational channels completely lie about. Being broke does not automatically make you hungry. Sometimes it makes you tired. Mentally exhausted. Because constant financial stress destroys cognitive energy. Your brain becomes obsessed with short-term survival. Rent. Bills. Food. Debt. You can't think creatively when your nervous system thinks you're under attack every day. That's why poor decision-making increases under financial pressure. Not because people are stupid. Because stress narrows vision. Psychologists call this scarcity mindset. But honestly, that phrase sounds too clean for what it actually feels like. It feels like drowning quietly. And here's the open secret nobody admits. A lot of people stay broke because they become emotionally attached to their struggle. Not consciously, but psychologically. Because struggle becomes familiar, predictable, comfortable in a painful way. You start building an identity around suffering. You joke about being broke. Post memes about it. Normalize it. And eventually, you stop seeing wealth as something for you. You see it as something other people become. That's the trap. Not lack of money. Lack of self-permission. Think about this. Have you ever noticed how some people sabotage opportunities the moment life starts improving? They procrastinate. Disappear. Self-destruct. Pick toxic relationships. Waste money. Quit too early. Because success creates a new problem. Now they have to become someone unfamiliar. And the human brain fears unfamiliarity more than pain. Read that again. People stay inside miserable lives because misery feels predictable. That's terrifying. But being broke also changes how society treats you. People respect confidence until they realize you have no money. Then suddenly, your opinions matter less. Your time matters less. Even your personality becomes invisible. And after enough experiences like that, you start shrinking yourself automatically. You stop speaking up. Stop taking risks. Stop believing you deserve better. That's why poverty is psychological warfare, not just economic struggle. Now, here's the part nobody wants to hear. Some people secretly enjoy victimhood because responsibility is terrifying. If your life is always someone else's fault, you never have to risk failure trying to change it. That's why some people stay stuck for decades talking about the system while doing absolutely nothing differently. Yes, life is unfair. Some people start 10 steps ahead. That's reality. But eventually, you either use pain as fuel, or you build a home inside it. And most people build furniture there. The dangerous thing about being broke isn't the lack of money. It's the slow destruction of possibility. You stop imagining a future. You stop planning long term. You stop believing effort changes outcomes. And once a human loses that, they become emotionally numb. That's why some broke people don't even get excited anymore. Not because they're lazy, because hope became exhausting. But here's the truth that can actually change your life. Your financial situation affects your psychology, but it should never become your identity. You are not your bank account. You are not your worst month. You are not the version of yourself that existed under survival pressure. And the moment you stop romanticizing struggle, your brain starts looking for exits instead of excuses. That's when things begin changing. Slowly. Quietly. Painfully. But genuinely. Most people wait for motivation before changing their life. That's a mistake. Action creates motivation. Not the other way around. Nobody climbs out of rock bottom feeling confident first. Confidence is usually a side effect of surviving things you thought would destroy you. And if you're broke right now, the first thing you need to rebuild isn't your income. It's your self-respect. Because people who respect themselves move differently. They think differently. Choose differently. Endure differently. And maybe that's the truth nobody tells you about being broke. The money problem is real. But the psychological damage lasts longer than the empty wallet. If you don't heal the mindset that survival created, you can make more money and still feel poor internally. Still scared. Still insecure. Still one bad month away from panic. That's why some people escape poverty physically, but never mentally. So before this video ends, ask yourself something honestly. Have you been trying to improve your life? Or have you just been trying to survive it? Because those are two completely different mindsets. And only one of them leads somewhere. If this video felt uncomfortably personal, that's probably because it was. Subscribe to TexturaMind. Because some truths hurt. But they also wake people up.